One argument being that Cyrus was a follower of Zoroaster, the monotheistic prophet. Zoroastrianism played a dominant religious role in Persia throughout its history until the Islamic conquest. As such, he would feel a kindred spirit with the monotheistic Jews. Another possibility is the magni- magnanimous respect he is ascribed to have shown to the diverse beliefs and customs of the people within his extended kingdom. As one example, upon the conquest of Babylon itself, it is recorded that he paid homage at the temple of the Babylonian god Marduk, thereby gaining the support of the Babylonian people and minimizing further bloodshed. While Jewish tradition, as described previously in Ezra 118, indicates the Lord inspired King Cyrus of Persia to issue this proclamation in the Cyrus calendar, he pays homage to Marduk. This Babylon document has been interpreted as referring to the return to their homelands of several displaced cultural groups, one of which could have been the Jews. The Cyrus calendar, which confirms that Cyrus allowed captives in Babylon to return to their native lands, earning him as honored place in Judaism. From Babylon to Assur and from Susa, Agad, Esnuna, Zamban, Mitranu, Dar. As far as the region of Gutian, the sacred centers of the other side of the Tigris, whose sanctuaries had been abandoned for a long time. I returned the images of the gods who had resided there to their places, and I let them dwell in eternal abodes. I gathered all their inhabitants and returned to them their dwellings. In addition, at the command of Marduk, the great Lord, I settled in their habitations in pleasing abodes the gods of summer and occurred, whom Nabonidus to the anger of the Lord of the gods had brought into Babylon. Lines 30 to 30. Who roused from the east him that victory hails at every step, who presents him with nations, subdues kings to him. His sword makes dust of them, and his bow scatters them like stray. He pursues them and advances unhindered, his feet scarcely touching the road. Who is the author of this deed, if not he who called the generations from the beginning? I, the Lord, who am the first and shall be with the last. Isaiah. Thus says the Lord to his anointed, to Cyrus, whom he has taken by his right hand, to subdue nations before him and strip the loins of kings, to force gateways before him that their gates be closed no more. I will go before you leveling the heights. I will shatter the bronze gateways, smash the iron bars. I will give you the hidden treasures, the secret hoards, that you may know that I am the Lord. Isaiah. Among the classical Jewish sources, besides the Bible, Josephus, 1st century AD, mentioned that Cyrus freed the Jews from captivity and helped rebuild the temple. He also wrote to the rulers and governors that they should contribute to the rebuilding of the temple and assisted them in rebuilding the temple. A letter from a letter from Cyrus to the Jews is described by Josephus. Authenticity of the decree. I have given leave to as many of the Jews that dwell in my country as please to return to their own country and to rebuild their city and to build the temple of God at Jerusalem on the same place where it was before. I have also sent my treasurer Mithridates and Zorobabel, the governor of the Jews, that they may lay the foundations of the temple and may build it 60 cubits high and of the same latitude, making three edifices of polished stones and one of the wood of the country. And the same order extends to the altar whereon they offer sacrifices to God. I required also that the expenses for these things may be given out of my revenues. Moreover, I have also sent the vessels which King Nebuchadnezzar pillaged out of the temple and have given them to Mithridates the treasurer and to Zorobabel the governor of the Jews, that they may have them carried to Jerusalem and may restore them to the temple of God. Now their number is as follows: 50 chargers of gold, and 500 of silver, 40 triclinian cups of gold, and 500 of silver, 50 basins of gold. Now their number is as follows: 50 chargers of gold, and 500 of silver, 40 Thericlean cups of gold, and 500 of silver, 50 basins of gold, and 500 of silver, 30 vessels for pouring the drink offerings, and 300 of silver, 30 vials of gold, and 2,400 of silver, with a thousand other large vessels. Their number is as follows: 50 chargers of gold and 500 of silver, 40 Thericlean cups of gold and 500 of silver, 50 basins of gold and 500 of silver, 30 vessels for pouring the drink offerings, and 300 of silver, 30 vials of gold, and 2,400 of silver, with a thousand other large vessels. Number 3. I permit them to have the same honor which they were used to have from their forefathers, as also for their small cattle, and for wine and oil, 205,500 drachmae, and for wheat flour, 20,500 artabai. And I give order that these expenses shall be given them out of the tributes due from Samaria. The priest shall also offer these sacrifices according to the laws of Moses in Jerusalem, and when they offer them, they shall pray to God for the preservation of the king and of his family, that the kingdom of Persia may continue. But my will is that those who disobey these injunctions and make them void shall be hung upon a cross, and their substance brought into the king's treasury. The historical nature of this decree has been challenged. Professor Lester L. Grabe has argued that there was no decree but that there was a policy that allowed exile to return to their homelands and rebuild their temples. He also argues that the archaeology suggests that the return was typical, taking place over perhaps decades, resulting in a maximum population of perhaps 30,000.